everyone, welcome back to this channel. So I have decided that today onwards we will discuss some machine learning or data science related interview questions. First we will discuss some basic questions, then we will go for follow-up questions so that every concept becomes crystal clear to you. We can revise the things we have learned and you become interview ready. Fine, let's begin our class. Suppose he asks you, what is the difference between stratified sampling and clustered sampling? Then just answer it in a flow. Don't give that technical bookish definition. Instead, say that sampling is like collecting a subset from a population. It can be of many types. Stratified and clusters are two types among them. Okay. Now, stratified sampling means when we take the population, divide the population into groups, and then we select some people from the groups in a proportional manner. That is known as stratified sampling. Fine. Now, cluster sampling is creating clusters but selecting the complete clusters instead of selecting the proportions from them. Fine. So simple difference in stratified sampling, we select samples proportionally, but in cluster sampling, after we cluster the population, we select a complete clusters. Okay, that is the simple difference. Now he may ask you some follow-up questions also. Can you tell me what are the other types of sampling? So you can just name some other sampling, or he may ask you whether this sampling comes under probability sampling or non-probability sampling. You can simply say that it comes under probability sampling. Okay, so these are the follow-up questions. Second question, what is the difference between traditional programming and machine learning? So this is a simple basic question. So you just answer that in traditional programming, we explicitly give instruction to the data. If we want to add two numbers, we just say C equal to A plus B. Everything is explicit. Everything is instructed. Machine doesn't think of its own. But in case of machine learning, machine has to learn from the previous data set. Different kind of algorithms we use, supervised or unsupervised, different types of algorithms. The job is machine learning to understand what is there in the dataset, and based on that it predicts the future. We don't write explicitly everything. Okay, this is a basic question, but it may be asked. How can you measure a central tendency of a dataset? So you simply say that central tendency means knowing that what is the central point, knowing where my data is lying in the dataset. Most of the values are lying in the dataset. That is the central tendency. So you can measure the central tendency by mean value, by median value, by mode value. Now he may ask you what is median, how will you calculate the median? Then you will say that first I have to order the dataset, then the middle value is known as the median value. Mode value means the most appearing values in the data set. What is the mean value? The average value. So these things may be your follow-up questions. Or if he goes in depth, then he may ask you, what are the types of mean you know? So you will say trimmed mean, weighted mean. Now he may ask you that if I want to calculate the mean, which library of Python will I use? Then you can simply say that I can calculate in different ways, but it is already written in NumPy library. So I will simply import the NumPy library and then I can write numpy.mean, np.mean. Okay, so simply I can calculate the mean. And these are the ways we can calculate the central tendency of any data set. Okay, so you understand my point that this is a simple basic question and that may lead you into depth. Okay. Now next question. This is also a simple question. What is the difference between supervised learning and unsupervised learning? First you try to answer that. Just answer in simple words. Supervised learning means working with a labeled dataset. Labeled dataset means it has an output with input. But unsupervised learning means you don't have the output. You only have some inputs. Your data is not labeled. So you are working with unlabeled dataset. That is the simple difference between supervised and unsupervised learning. Now he may ask you what is reinforcement learning. So okay, there may be some follow-up questions as well. Now next, if you want to know the frequency of any categorical column, which plot will you prefer? He wants to know that how you think. Then you can simply say that I will prefer histogram because it will help me to calculate the frequency of any categorical column. Now if he asks you that I don't want the count, instead I want to know the percentage of any categorical column. Then which one will you prefer? Then you can say that I will prefer pie chart. Okay. Now if he asks you that which library are you going to use? You know that to plot anything we need Seaborn or Matplotlib. But it is a tricky question. If you say that I can use Seaborn or Matplotlib, then you are wrong because by Seaborn you cannot plot pyplot. There is no function, so you have to use Matplotlib library. So explicitly say that I can use Matplotlib library to plot any pyplot. Okay, so you understand what I am trying to say, that they may ask you with some basic questions and then they may go into the depth. You have to be ready for any kind of questions and we will increase our difficulty level slowly. Okay, so meet in your next video. Bye, happy learning.